it is. Now it's working.
Okay.
Mic check, mic check.
Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah. We might have to talk louder because I can't test it right now. It is reaching the
Okay.
but alright, I guess do a countdown or something.
Sure.
Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 49 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside Dev, currently figuring everything out here once again.
Yeah, it's a mess.
No, I mean, we're working on it. It's a process, and we're getting there. But gonna have a good time tonight talking about the Game Awards, going over everything that was announced, the winners, some controversies, getting your takes on them, Dev. We'll see what you think about them. Talking about the biggest scam in years the day before, so we're definitely going to be getting into that as well, along with a bunch of other news. So there's some stuff on here I think we're definitely going to butt heads on, but I'm looking forward to talking about it all the same. So let's jump right in and start with the Game Awards. So we watched them together on Thursday, last Thursday. What did you think of them?
It was pretty mid.
I would agree with that.
Mid above mid. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It just, nothing too amazing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. So we're going to run through the winners, kind of give our thoughts a little bit, and then kind of talk more so about the announcements. But I don't want to pull a Jeff Keighley and not talk about the winners of the awards.
Okay.
So, Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3 ended up winning that, as expected. I mean, we kind of talked about it leading up to the Game Awards, and it just kind of felt like a sure thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't much of a surprise at all. Best game direction, and best narrative, and best art direction were all won by Alan Wake 2. Again, I'm not really surprised about any of those. I mean, we kind of talked about those, and I'm not surprised to hear Remedy really kind of cleaned up in some of these categories,
Yeah.
Best score and music went to Final Fantasy 16. I really kind of thought Hi-Fi Rush probably should have won this one. I mean, I think the game was a smash hit, and so much of that game revolves around its audio, its score, and its music. It was kind of weird to not see it win.
Well, which one did it win? It won best music.
It won best audio design.
Yeah, so I think sound design and score are two different things.
No, I mean they are, and
so I think that's why.
Yeah, so I mean I get it. I was still kind of all the same, a little surprised by it. Best performance was won by Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
Innovation in accessibility was won by Forza Motorsport, which I felt like going into that one, we were like, yeah, that Forza always seems to win that one. You could play that game blind,
Yeah.
more or less.
Insane.
So it is pretty crazy. Games for Impact was won by Chia. Best ongoing game, Cyberpunk 2077. So I have a problem with this one, though. And a lot of people actually did. So I think it's crazy, ridiculous, that a single-player game, which launched broken, and then was, updated, fixed over the course of 2 years, and then it gets an expansion, and that's just all of a sudden like an ongoing game. And it's literally not the definition of ongoing game.
Yeah, I was like, what makes this game ongoing besides the fact that you're just fixing a broken game over time?
Yeah.
I don't know if that should qualify.
So something that I saw a lot of people, in the gaming community talking about, admittedly more so the Xbox side of things, but Halo Infinite is a game that really turned itself around this year with the additions of like Forge and all the other stuff they're doing, and like I was kind of surprised that game doesn't even get nominated here.
Yeah, I can see that for nomination. I thought Fortnite had its best year ever this year.
I agree with that as well. Like, I wouldn't say Halo Infinite would definitely win, but I think Halo Infinite should have been
Nominated at least.
over Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And like you said, Fortnite's just having the best year they've ever had.
Yeah.
They just launched like 3-4 new games as like a hub. It's like, I don't know what more you can do. Like, this award just kind of reeked as BS to me. It's like, hey, let's pat Cyberpunk on the back here. And it's just like, okay, that's weird. But again, I think there was a lot of problems with the Game Awards this year. But we'll get into that. Best Community Support, Baldur's Gate 3 from Larian. Thank God Destiny 2 didn't win this, because that would have been really awkward. Best Independent Game, Sea of Stars won that award, which I was happy to see. Glad that Dave the Diver didn't win. That would have, again, been very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Best Debut Indie Game was Cocoon. Best Mobile Game was Honkai Star Rail. Best VR AR game was Resident Evil Village. Best Action Game, Armored Core 6. Best Action Adventure Game, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3 wins this one. Now, again, this is another one that I just have a lot of issues with. I mean, Final Fantasy 16 and Lies of P, I don't consider those RPGs. Especially Final Fantasy 16. In my opinion, my game of the year, or at least one of my favorite games of the year, was completely snubbed from the Game Awards, which was Octopath Traveler 2. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me that game shouldn't be nominated for Best RPG of the Year. It just, that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't compute. So Baldur's Gate 3 won, though, which again was no surprise. Best Fighting Game, Street Fighter 6 won that award. Best Family Game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Best Sim/Strategy Game, Pikmin 4. I was really kind of bummed that Advance Wars didn't win this one. I'm pulling for more Advance Wars, so okay. I want to see more. So hopefully we get more. Best Sports Racing Game was won by Forza Motorsport. Multiplayer Game, Baldur's Gate 3. And Best Adaptation, The Last of Us TV show. Again, I love The Last of Us TV show, but like, man, that Mario movie is just so good. I really wanted it to win there, but it did not. Most anticipated game was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Content Creator of the Year was Iron Mouse. Best Esports Game was Valorant. Esports Athlete was Faker. Esports Team was JD Gaming. Esports Coach Potter. Esports Event. League of Legends World Championship 2023. So those were the winners. Yeah, we'll carry on, and then I have a thought kind of about the awards in general, the award portion of the show. But for now, let's run through some of these announcements that we got at the Game Awards. So in terms of the announcements, strictly the announcements, like how overall do you think you felt about what was shown and what was revealed?
They were fine. There was, some cool stuff, but nothing like mind-blowing. For me, anyway, personally.
Yeah, so I can kind of agree with you there. There are 2 or 3 games that really stick out to me, but I think overall I would kind of agree with you. I feel like this was kind of an odd Game Awards show in a sense that, like, well, so I think Xbox had a really good showing. I think that, you come in with Hellblade, Senua Saga, you show off Blade, you show off OD. Like, the Xbox Game Studios, they showed up and they were clearly clicking a little bit.
I mean, Nintendo showed up and then they dropped they didn't drop an announcement with retro games coming to...
So, yeah, Nintendo didn't show up at the Game Awards at all. During the Game Awards, they announced that 3 N64 games were coming to NSO.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah, and I'm like, why did you just have a little clip it play at the Game Awards to at least say you were there doing something?
Yeah.
Not surprised, obviously.
Yeah,
we know that this year coming up is the big year for Nintendo. They're going to be showing off the Super Switch. They're going to be releasing the Super Switch. This time next year, we're going to be talking about the Super Switch.
Yeah.
That's exciting to me.
Yeah.
But so Nintendo didn't show up at all, which was expected. The one that's really kind of glaring to me was PlayStation. And now, granted, PlayStation did show God of War Ragnarok DLC, which is already out now.
Mm-hmm.
It's free DLC. Or wait, no. I think it comes out in 3 days. I think. Regardless, an imminent release. But I mean, outside of that, I don't
think anyone really had any big announcements. It's anything that's jaw dropping, anything that's like Like,
The Blade one was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, what? They're making a Blade? I was very surprised by the Blade announcement.
Yeah.
Very happy with that. But let's run through some of these announcements and kind of just give like quick thoughts. Brother: A Tale of Two Sons got a remake revealed. Pony Island 2. I think Jeff in the Discord was like, this is what gaming is now? Pony Island 2? I was like, hell yeah, Pony Island 2. Windblown, Dead Cells developer Motion Twins next game. Metaphor, ReFantazio got a fall 2024 release window along with a new trailer. Thought that looked really good. Obviously, it's from the team behind Persona. Harmonium, the musical, is a sign language music adventure. Usual Jane is the latest from Finji. I thought that game looked pretty good, actually. Usual Jane.
Yeah.
Exodus is a new game coming out starring Matthew McConaughey. I actually thought this game looked really cool. Kind of giving off like sci-fi, maybe even Mass Effect vibes to an extent. Now, you said this was literally the same plot as that one movie, right?
Yeah,
That Matthew
Interstellar.
McConaughey-
Yeah, it's like at least the opening part, like
right.
going into space and time and like, yeah.
Forrest is here. He says, Baller Gate 3, best game. Won everything. Yeah, I'm gonna be getting it pretty soon, Forrest. I'm gonna order the deluxe physical edition. It's $10 more, and it comes with like a bunch of cool stuff. Anyways, so look, we were talking about God of War Ragnarok. It gets the free expansion called Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a epilogue to Ragnarok. I think this was really cool for them to put out free DLC. I think that something that they didn't have to do. I mean, admittedly, it does make me question the amount of content you're going to get from this DLC, but, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's free DLC.
Yeah.
So, can't complain. There clearly is going to be some sort of story element to it. It seems like it's going to be a roguelike, which doesn't really interest me much, but, you know, it'll be there when I get around to Ragnarok.
Yeah, it's like one of those trial things. It looks like you go and you die, and you level up and go back in again. Try to do better than you did last time.
Yeah. So then we got a look at what is really, for me, the most gorgeous game we saw, in my opinion, at the Game Awards, which was Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. I was really shocked that we didn't get a release date for this game.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
That was really weird for me. And
2024, they said.
Yeah, and like I was really expecting it, because it's the third year in a row it showed up at the Game Awards. I don't think it's going to be delayed or anything, but it was really surprising that we didn't get a date. Obviously, Xbox is aiming for those 1/4 game releases, and I really thought, I mean, we were talking about it before the show started, I was like, Hellblade's going to be the Q1 2024 game. Now I'm not 100% as sure as I was. Although I don't know what they're going to put in that slot, because they didn't announce release dates for anything. But I think just watching this trailer, this game just looks so gorgeous. I'm watching the B-roll that you have up right now, and like, I cannot wait to play this game. Like, this just looks so good. There's a one part of the trailer where they're like she's walking down the hill, and I was like, man, it's a gorgeous looking game. After that, we got Big Walk, the next game from the developers of Untitled Goose Game. Moon Studios revealed an action RPG called No Rest for the Wicked. Ikumi Nakamura showed up, showing off. She not even showing it off, more so shopping it for publishers. Her new game, Kamori.
Yeah, it was a really pretty game too.
It was a very stylized. It looked really cool. The casting of Frank Stone is a single player horror game set in the Dead by Daylight universe, which is interesting to me. We'll have to see how that goes. Sega had this really kind of crazy announcement. I don't think I've ever seen an announcement like this.
Yeah, that was actually really cool.
It was. But so basically, leading into the Game Awards, Sega had teased big news at the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't kidding. They announced the remakes of 5 of their games.
With more to come.
Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and more. My hat's off to them. Like, that was, like, I'm not a Sega kid, these games, while I respect a lot of them, like I definitely want to play Jet Set Radio. None of these games mean anything to me really, admittedly, but like kudos to them for them just coming out and being like, hey, here's all of our IP, remakes for all of it. We're remaking all of our dormant IP. It's really smart in today's gaming sphere where like, you know, IPs are just, whether you like it or not, IPs are the way to go. I mean, like the games industry doesn't want to do new things a lot because they're worried it's going to flop. And so, I mean, Sega's making a smart move here. Like, hey, like all of our IP that people like, let's make it relevant again so we can start making new games.
Yeah, between Jet Set and Crazy Taxi, those are the two that I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I definitely want to play Jet Set Radio. Like, that's the one for me where I'm like, I've heard a lot. I've never played it. I want to get into it. So, looking forward to it. Forrest said, I was. Let's go.
Forrest, are you into this? The Star Wars Budokai game?
Star Wars?
I mean...
Forrest, the Star Wars Budokai game.
Dragon Ball Budokai game.
Oh, man.
That actually sounds fun, Star Wars Budokai.
Yeah, I would definitely play a Star Wars Budokai game. For the record,
yeah,
I was
throwing it out there. That sounds really fun.
Disney's like, write that down. Write that down. So we also saw... I mean, yeah, we could talk about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the next Budokai Tenkaichi game. I used to love the Budokai games growing up. Like, Budokai 2 and 3, love those games. I'll probably be picking this up, admittedly. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. It depends on when it comes out and what's coming out around it. Yeah. But there's a good shot that I get that game. What's up to Daisy Luther in the chat? LOL. I assume at you saying Star Wars Tenkaichi. Oh, it's Daisy. I just realized. Daisy and Forrest. Mm-hmm. Hey, Daisy. Let's see. Moving on. So, after 15 years, we got a new Mana game announced, Visions of Mana. Big noticeable thing is that this game is coming to Xbox as well. You are once again proven wrong that Xbox gamers do, in fact, want games made by Japanese developers.
I didn't say they didn't.
You did say that.
But I never said that.
No, see, here's the thing. You did.
Show me.
I'm in the middle of the show.
Yeah, because you can't show me because it didn't exist.
It would be really
because I never said it.
It would be really...
Because that's never happened.
Can I speak?
No. Not if you're going to spit lies.
It would be really bad content if I sat here and went through all of our episodes, because we're on episode 49 right now.
Well, I guess it's good content to lie, right? Got to get those clicks.
You literally said that, but okay.
But I didn't. But okay.
Ask Dev about the plot of DBZ. Dev, tell me about the plot of DBZ.
I don't know. You Dragon Ball. You Goku when you fight the Frieza, right?
Wait, did you not watch Dragon Ball Z?
I watched episodes here and there, but not really.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have patience for it.
That's understandable, actually. That may be like a very understandable critique of Dragon Ball Z. Like, I'm shocked that you didn't watch it.
Like, I watched episodes,
blame you.
But like I didn't like weekly watch it.
So you missed out the Cell saga. That's where Dragon Ball Z
eventually watched it. Like when I got older, yeah. Like I know about Cell and Frieza and all that stuff. But like as a kid, no.
Yeah, the Namek stuff is a real slog because of they were trying to get caught up with the manga, or the manga needed time to, you know. Mm-hmm. But regardless, that's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. But anyway, so the new Mana game is coming out on Xbox and PlayStation. Kind of furthering that commitment that Square Enix made this past year to make sure that they don't forget about the Xbox platform, because regardless of what you said or didn't say, there is a section of gamers who want to play Japanese-made games, JRPGs, on Xbox. That's me. I'm one of them. I want to play them. Gonna play Octopath Traveler 2 again. Alright. Next up, Hideo Kojima showed off his new game, OD, which is going to include Jordan Peele. Mm-hmm. The trailer, or the teaser, looks insane.
Yeah.
The technology. The eyes.
We have no idea what this game is, though.
No, none at all.
We have no idea how it plays. We know nothing.
I'm not going to sit here and say, like, this game looks good. Or, like, it's going to be a good game. But I can tell you that what we're seeing, very impressive technology.
Yeah.
And then, of course, from a storytelling perspective, I mean, Kojima coming in, you got Jordan Peele. He kind of also teased, like, others. That's a big get for them. I think it's going to be a really interesting project. And again, like, coming from Xbox Game Studios, like them working with Kojima again, it's just another big moment for them where they've been trying to, you know, get these kinds of games on their platform. So it's a big thing for them, and I think the game looks really good. Forrest says, "Yeah, right, Dev. They all fight space and want to buy the One Piece from the Eren Jaeger to save the power of friendship while screaming." Right, Dev?
I guess that sounds about right.
Wow. The problem is Forrest has no room to talk because when I found out that he didn't actually watch Code Geass, the greatest anime of all time, like that blew me away. That changed me as a person.
I think I heard from you. He doesn't even watch anime. Period.
No, he doesn't. He looks up the anime recaps, and just like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Daisy's looking forward to the Kojima game. Yeah, it looks really interesting. I'm
Whatever
really
it
vibing
is,
with it.
yeah.
Whatever it is, it's like it. What I do know is it's going to be super like artsy and
A lot of horror.
I mean, like
elements.
again, you look at Jordan Peele's movies. Like if he's working on this project with Kojima, like
No, it's very exciting. I'm excited to see a gameplay trailer.
yeah, definitely. We also saw Black Myth Wukong coming out next August.
That game just looks amazing. Like, it looks like a game of the year contender already before it's even out.
So it's yeah, and afterwards, I actually was online. I saw IGN did a beat report, like their beat reporter Rebecca Valentine did kind of a piece about the studio, and apparently the studio's not a very great place to work.
Damn.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, like you said though, the game itself looks phenomenal regardless. Forrest just likes them better. Jurassic Park Survival, stunning first-person adventure game set right after the first film.
That looks good too. I know you said you weren't into the Jurassic Park IP, but that game just looks.
Yeah, no, dinosaurs have just never done it for me. Really, just never been a dinosaur guy. We saw a trailer for Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. I still have next to no interest in that game at all.
Yeah. I'm still excited for the game.
I think my biggest problem with Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League is that like you have all these characters that don't like. The kind of game it is, it's like it's a looter shooter. So you're gonna have a bunch of these characters who don't really use guns, like using guns. Like why is, I'm blanking on his name, but the shark. What's his name again?
King Shark.
King Shark. Why is King Shark walking around with a gun?
Yeah.
That's dumb. I'm sorry. That makes no sense from an IP perspective. Like, and he's
There's a
not
way
the
that
only
it could fit where, like, if he's a heavy weapon guy, I can see that. He's carrying out rocket launchers or weapons.
Has he ever though? Like it
I'm
makes
sure he
sense.
has.
Like it makes sense for Deadshot to
Yeah.
make to be
Deadshot
shooting
and
guns.
Harley, and even
Harley with a Magnum. I get.
even Captain Boomerang, like he uses his
Captain
boomerang
Boomerang uses boomerangs
and guns too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's
You can have it so that his boomerang just like he upgrades his boomerang as different weapons. You know what I mean? Like he can be the special weapons guy. King Shark can be. I just have to see more like actual gameplay. I have a lot of faith in Rocksteady.
I want to. I just don't have a lot of faith in the game. I think that they put all their eggs in one basket and wanted to go this looter shooter route, and I'm not a believer in the project.
For me, the thing that takes me out of it the most is what we're seeing now is all of the, I guess, the airtime. Like you're just kind of flying around.
That's what I'm saying. You're just
like,
jumping around and just shooting in the air and just. I just don't think the game looks very good. But like the thing,
it's one of those things where I have to play it. You know what I mean? Like
so, like here's the thing. I will say what I am interested in is the story.
Yeah, the story
and the
looks good too,
cutscenes.
yeah.
Like I'm very interested in seeing these characters interacting.
Yeah.
But like I'll just go on YouTube and watch
the cutscenes.
The cutscenes at that point. Like I don't have any interest in this gameplay at all.
Yeah, I have to see more like actual gameplay, not like scripted stuff. Someone sitting down and playing
Well, this
it.
game comes out in 2 months, and
Yeah.
we haven't seen much yet.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? Daisy's a big DC fan, and that game looks dumb. I agree, Daisy. It does look dumb. What else did we get? So Don't Nod, the makers of Life is Strange, showed off the mysterious Lost Records Bloom and Rage. That looked really good. They also showed off a trailer for their other game, which is for some reason not on this list. Where is it? I can't find it. Interesting. They don't have it on this list. But regardless, both games from Don't Nod look really good. Big fan of the narratives that the studio puts out. So good storytelling from them. We also got so for me the biggest like unexpected announcement of the night was Marvel's Blade being made by Arcane Leon and Bethesda. This was such a surprise for me. I really wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense when you think about the games that Arcane's made. I think Blade is such a great fit for them. The press release made it really clear that this is really the kind of game that Xbox, a lot of people think Xbox really needs to make. I'm one of them. I agree. It's a third-person action-adventure game, like very in the style of, your God of Wars, etc., etc. And I'm stoked for it. I think this was a really great concept trailer. I'm really excited. Now, here's something interesting. So, there's no confirmed exclusivity for it. And a lot of people are trying to figure out if this game is going to be an Xbox exclusive or not.
I imagine it will be. It's a Bethesda studio, which is an Xbox studio.
So that's my thought too. But like the weird thing is that Xbox this trailer did not get posted on their YouTube channel or PlayStation's for that matter. Like, and it's really kind of weird because like when Xbox was, promoting Starfield, it was all on their Xbox channel. So people are saying that they're being weirdly ambiguous about whether this game is coming to Xbox or not, or exclusive to Xbox. I'm sorry. And I don't know. I mean, it is weird. Apparently, I don't remember the source, but like one of the sources, like a reputable source reached out to Microsoft for comment, and they declined to comment on the exclusivity of the game, which for me, that's interesting. However, some people are speculating that it could just be because of like the whole FTC like court case that like they're just trying to keep it very like because the FTC is technically still fighting it, so they might just be like, hey, this Blade game's coming out from Bethesda. But regardless of whether it's exclusive or not, I'm very excited to play it. But that game's probably a while out, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Probably come out the year of GTA or something.
Gotham Knights 2 squad.
Yeah.
For Suicide Squad. Let's see. Last Sentinel is a new AAA game from former Rockstar devs. GTFO is doing a new co-op heist. Hello Games, the creators of No Man's Sky, showed off their new game dev, Light No Fire. What are your thoughts on this game?
I think it's they learned a lot from No Man's Sky, so like I just see them putting everything they learned from that large game into another large game that's more MMO and fantasy and sci-fi. Like they're just creating video game the world. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it seems really cool.
Enzo got the plasma sword out. He's an Xbox gamer. Good dog. Good boy. Yeah, I mean, I think this game, the concept that they kind of tried to spin is very intriguing to me, and I wonder just how big these worlds are going to be, because he, like, Sean from Hello Games was kind of like, what if it was like a whole Earth, and everybody was on it?
Well, that's what he was saying on stage, though. It's
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a planet-sized planet.
Yeah, it's a planet-sized planet.
Yeah.
With, like, well, my question is, like, is it going to be, like, server-based? And if so, like, how many players are going to be on the server? I think that's my next question for the game. I think the game looks gorgeous. I'm excited to see where they're at with it. They said they've been working on it for about 5 years.
Yeah.
So you have to imagine it's
probably still a ways out, though.
Maybe a year or two, but I don't think it'll be much longer than that. I mean, Hello
a year or
Games
two sounds about
is
right.
a smaller team, though, so you never know.
I like large finite worlds. I'm done with this so big where it's either infinite or almost infinite.
I'm so with you on that.
And
I want a curated space, and we actually have a headline like later in the show that we'll talk about. Something E.G. Onuma said about Zelda that I thought was funny. Well, I thought it was disappointing.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I think that the open worlds are great, but like definitely give me like a finite curated experience.
Yeah. Especially like smaller. Like I'm good with large worlds, even Ubisoft sized worlds if it's a single player.
Yeah.
You can go bigger for multiplayer, but like these 1,000 planets or these like No Man's Sky infinite amount of worlds, like it's not. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you with that. I completely agree, actually. We got to look at Exoborn, a multiplayer tactical shooter where you get to extract loot while fighting in tornadoes. The First Descendant got a full release for next summer. The Finals, Shadow dropped. It's out now. We talked about it a couple weeks ago for our Halloween episode when you weren't here. And I think we did a follow-up the next week. The Finals, blowing up. Big hit, it seems.
Yeah.
Free to play. Game looks really fun. Out now on every system.
I think it's going to be a big esports game. We're going to see a lot of this, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. But it's off to a great start. Forrest says, I'm tired of open worlds, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. You keep digging, Forrest. Let's see. What else did we get? And then, well, this article is really weird because it's very out of order. But what I assume was Forrest's get hype moment of the night. Monster Hunter Wilds revealed at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. I have zero interest in Monster Hunter. But
I think that
I'm sure some people are going to be I'm sure people are very excited for it.
It was definitely picked. It was paired as like the announcement of the night.
Oh, for sure. It was the last thing they showed before the Game Awards. Tales of Kenzera Zao is a magical Metroidvania. Final Fantasy 16 is getting 2 DLCs. One of them was available the day of the Game Awards. As Dusk Falls, which we had a great time with this past year, is coming to PlayStation in March. Alan Wake 2, the final draft update includes a new game plus and a new ending, and it's out today, I believe, actually. The Outlast Trials are going 1.0 and coming to consoles in March, and the last reveal of the night, Baldur's Gate 3, now available on Xbox. So all around, like we talked about, there was some really cool stuff here, but I don't think that there was like outside of Blade for me, there really wasn't like a holy shit moment at this Game Awards.
Even Blade, it's really cool. It's just
like
wasn't anything.
Nothing from anybody like blew me away. Like usually there's always like that one thing.
But it was still in my opinion, it was still a good showing all around. Like there was nothing I didn't like about the show at all.
So, well, in terms of the show, I actually do have some issues, as did a lot of people.
Well, the announcements I didn't have a problem with.
Announcements.
Yeah.
Okay.
The show, my only real gripe with the show, and you'll probably talk about it, is the speech length. Like,
so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. So there was controversy coming out of the Game Awards across the board, actually. It seemed like nobody was happy with the Game Awards as a whole, at least from what I saw in terms of the online discourse. So the first thing was the amount of time given, like you said, to award winners. So award winners were basically given about 30 seconds, and if you had went on more than 30 seconds, a giant wrap it up sign would start flashing on the teleprompter. And like it was really weird and really awkward for in some places. Like the two that really stick out to me, right? Like the two most crazy ones. The Game of the Year award winner, Baldur's Gate. Larian Studios is up there accepting the award. They're talking about a developer who passed during the development of the game. And while they're doing that, wrap it up, please. Wrap it up. It's like, these guys won the Game of the Year in a year where Zelda pretty much had a lock. Like, this is a huge deal for the studio. A technically indie studio. They don't have a publisher. Like, they made their game. They put their game out themselves. And to see them kind of, like, celebrating their moment and, like, honoring a fallen friend and coworker and being told to wrap it up, in my opinion, really bad taste. And then, like, the other one that really stuck out to me, not as bad as the Baldur's Gate one, so maybe I should have led with this one, but when Zelda wins Action Adventure of the Year, you have Eiji Onuma, legendary game designer. You know, like, this guy's been responsible for, like, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, so, like, he's had his hand on so many excellent games in the Zelda franchise. And he just wants to take some time to thank the developers of Tears of the Kingdom. Like, all right, old man, hurry up. We got to wrap this up. I'm just like, oh. It's really rough. Especially, like, I think the Game Awards usually has this problem, but I feel like I think Jeff Keighley usually balances this out better, where, like, there was a lot of celebrities. There was a lot of kind of empty time. And I love game announcements at the Game Awards. I don't think that they should scale those back, but I definitely think that it's kind of crappy to not give the game designers who worked hard to make these games like their moment. Especially in a year like this when so many, like we talk about it week in and week out. Tonight we have a headline about a studio closing. And just, in a year when like thousands of game developers have lost their jobs to layoffs, like you can't even give the successful game developers a couple minutes to talk. Like it to me, it's absurd. And so couldn't really wrap my head around that. Like Simu Liu, right? Did we really need a story about how Simu broke his leg playing pickup basketball? He got more time than any of the developers. Anthony Mackie got more time.
So much time.
And it was so cringe. I was like, okay, all right. But there was no wrap it up for Anthony Mackie. It was like, oh, it's Anthony Mackie. He's a star. I really feel like the Game Awards really kind of lost their way this year. Where it's just like, there was no love given to the actual developers, to the great games. In a year that's like really ironically like one of the best years in gaming. Like, in terms of releases. And we just did not honor those games and those releases. Or those developers at all, in my opinion. Which, so my next point was Kratos' voice actor actually pissed off the entire Call of Duty community. So at the Game Awards, voice actor Christopher Judge took to the stage and made a joke that many people thought was in poor taste. Last year, he was on the stage. He delivered the longest speech in the award show history. He went about 8 minutes,
yeah.
Which is why the wrap it up thing is a thing. And I understand.
There has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance for sure. 30 seconds, not that balance. Give them at least like a minute and a half. Like, give them 90 seconds, please. So during his speech, he joked that last year's speech was longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign. Which, when it happened, we both laughed at it.
Yeah. No,
and it was funny. It was funny. However, it did upset a lot of people, both in and out of the Call of Duty community. One of my favorite tweets about it was Jez Corden, and it's not in this link, so you don't have to find it. But Jez said that in a year where, like, at the Game Awards, we didn't really honor game developers. We didn't, all these layoffs. We didn't acknowledge the layoffs. All this stuff going on in game development. Like, yes, Call of Duty wasn't a good game, but do we really need to crack jokes on a developer's efforts? Like, and I definitely saw the point to that. Like, I could definitely take a joke. I have a sense of humor. I thought it was funny, but at the same time, like, I wonder if that got approved. Or if Christopher Judge was just like, I'm just doing it. And Forrest says it's funny as fuck. Yeah, I agree it was funny. But, I mean, to be fair, again, it just kind of coincides with really just how the Game Awards carry themselves, where, like, and again, Forrest, like, you were here last week when I reviewed Call of Duty. I don't like it. It's not a good game.
But a lot of people share your opinion, and I think you have to keep developers responsible, especially those big AAA. The game was $70.
I agree.
He's not wrong. So
I agree.
It's you got to keep these big AAA developers you got to hold them responsible.
For sure. I just think
if it was divisive and like some people liked it, some people didn't. No, it was across the board. Everyone agreed it wasn't a good campaign.
Just Tweet is in here. Yeah, he says, say what you want about Call of Duty MW3 critically, but it's fucking shitty, bad taste to have approved some dumb teleprompter joke attacking devs. Oh, are you alright?
I'm alright.
You were attacked.
Yeah.
Dev on that game was incredibly hard and well documented.
I did.
And here's the thing. That's also really true, though. The game was forced out by Activision. They were forced to make it in 16 months. They wanted to make an Advanced Warfare 2, which we know is factual. They were denied that. The developers didn't have anything to do with the fact that they were forced to make a game in 16 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I do get that part. Again, hilarious joke. But I definitely see where Jez is coming from here, and I kind of lean that way, especially with, again, the vibe of the entire show. Like, we were joking about Kojima, right? When they show off OD and they have Kojima sitting there with the translator, we're cracking jokes like how these guys like go to like McDonald's together and drive in the drive.
Oh yeah, he's not.
Like, that went 8 minutes. Did they need 8 minutes for Kojima and Jordan Peele to talk about OD with like no details given? Really, it went like 8 minutes. We couldn't have spread that time out and given more time to the awards and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Overall,
because I did want to hear that stuff. Like having Jordan Peele come out and them talking about it. It was kind of cool.
So here's the thing. I think Jeff Keighley just needs to kind of refocus his efforts. I think you could do everything you did at the Game Awards, but still make people happy. Excuse me. Well, here's what I would do, right? So the pre-show, it's a half hour. The main show is about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I would make the pre-show an hour long, and I would make sure, like, I would just bang out awards, but not in the way that they do it. I would make sure you get on stage, do an award, 90-second speech, like, and then get most of those awards out of the way in the pre-show. So that way you're still doing the awards and still honoring the games that win the awards, and then you can still do your reveals. I just think, like, look, and I'm always like an unpopular opinion with this. Like, I feel like, because like,
do you think the pre-show should be all awards, a few trailers, and then when they actually do the game awards, it's maybe the top 10 awards? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think that there's no reason not to have every award make the stage and do reveals. So like what I was saying is that I'm always of the opinion that I don't care how long in length an event is, as long as it's good. Like, I remember, like, Forrest and I, we would, like, sit down and watch WrestleManias, and he'd be like, oh, this is a 9-hour WrestleMania. And I was like, yeah, but, like, as long as it's good, I don't really care that it's 9 hours. I'm getting my money's worth at that point. And that's kind of how I view these things. It's like, I'd be okay if the Game Awards was a 4-hour event. I just would be. As long as it's good. As long as we're accomplishing our goal of honoring games that came out this year while taking a peek at the future. If you could do that, if you need an extra hour, do it. Like, yeah, maybe some people will say it's too long, but okay. I get that critique, I do, but I would much rather the product of the Game Awards be good than, man, they just kind of shit all over the developers. Because those developers, they're not getting that time again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not to say they won't put out another great game, but that was Baldur's Gate 3. That was Larian's moment to, like, thank the fans, thank the team. And they got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And you can't just, like, redo that. Like, it's done. Like, you messed up. So, I don't know. That's just my take on it. Let's move on to our next big story. The day before is the biggest scam in gaming in years. Now, I was trying to find, because there's a lot to this story. And I found something on Reddit today I thought was really good. So I'm going to read real quick. This is the timeline of events for this game, the day before. So, the game was announced a couple years ago and became the most wishlisted game on Steam ever. Meant to be an open-world, zombie, MMO survival game. Graphics were amazing, gameplay looked solid. It looked too good to be true. It was too good to be true, Dev. So the developer, Fantastic, without an A, accused of faking gameplay and only showing vertical slices for their trailers. This would make them look a lot better than they would be with real gameplay. They deny this is the case, saying that this is real gameplay for their game. Multiple plagiarism allegations arise in the trailers, copying Call of Duty trailers, The Last of Us, and others. Most of the staff was not paid, and instead, volunteers were brought in to make the game. At one point they said they had more news about the game, did a huge countdown, and then it was bait and switched just to promote their new unrelated mobile app. There were multiple delays anytime they were nearing the release, like 5 delays, taken down from Steam due to legal battle over the name. Turns out they forgot to trademark the name and someone else used it. Staff spoke with the media saying it was a super toxic workplace and terribly managed, saying they've been told to just copy other games. Accusations of being just an asset flip game. Turned out most of the game was from a 300, let's just say Euro assistant pack on Unreal Store. Fantastic denies that this is the case. Simply looking at the asset pack, it's true. They think they got into shit with Nvidia, who were sponsoring them at one point after people thought the game was fake. The devs are known for releasing broken early access games and just abandoning them. They actually have a string of these. A couple of days before launch, they tweet that the game isn't a scam or an asset flip.
That's funny.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't tweet that a couple days before your game comes out. The game comes out, and it's a scam and an asset flip. It's not an open world MMO as promised. It's an extraction shooter. There's a lot of bugs. It barely works. There's basically no zombies. The area of the game is tiny. Fantastic. It goes on to delete all old videos from YouTube, which showed off the much better graphics and gameplay in an attempt to hide what they showed previously. The game got overwhelmingly negative Steam reviews, and then here we are, 4 days after release, the studio is closing down and abandoning the game.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
I think that pretty much covered.
I think 3 days or 4 days after release, it lost 90% of its player base.
Yep. It's insane. It was an overwhelming flop. They were at 30,000 users, like you said, and now I think the last check, they were like, yesterday they were at like under 7,000 and dropping. You're looking at that image,
Yeah.
and it's just, it is not good. And then, like I said, the studio is closing down. They released a statement. I'm going to pull it up real quick. If it wants to load. Come on. There we go. They say... Twitter's taking forever to load because Elon made it worse. Today, we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off our debts to our partners. We invested all our efforts, resources, and man-hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of Day Before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. At that moment, the future of the Day Before and Prop Night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power, but unfortunately, we miscalculated our capabilities. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. We're grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years.
It's insane.
So basically they're like, we cannot give refunds because we have to use the income received to pay off our debts. Which I don't have a link, but apparently Steam was like, we hold all payments for 30 days.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not legal.
Yeah, so Steam is going to be giving out refunds, but yeah, like this ended up being such a huge scam, and there it is. Dev needs a nap. Get the Bulbasaur. Yeah, so the biggest scam of all time, Dev. Dev, I think we could make a game.
Oh, absolutely.
And then just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
We should do it. Now, the next thing that's good to know that happens is some devs took the time and the opportunity to make fun of the failed game and the studio closing. The DayZ team put out a statement saying, today, want to primarily celebrate for no reason at all the remarkable 10th anniversary of DayZ. It is with immense gratitude we commemorate a decade of passion, creativity, and unwavering support of our incredible community. In this milestone moment, we are delighted to announce the thriving success of DayZ, our groundbreaking MMO experience that has captivated audiences worldwide. This open-world survival masterpiece, enriched with years of dedication, has truly flourished into a gaming marvel. They go on to basically continue to mock the announcement of the studio's closure. And even at the end, put a little timeline out. And it looks like you pulled up the other one, which was the Rust team.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, just great stuff here. I think they took the DayZ stuff.
Yeah,
and
they just wrote Rust.
Rust over it. I definitely appreciate it.
It was a vehicle update.
Yeah, with the vehicle update of 2018.
Yeah.
So I mean, these developers or these teams, they definitely deserve to, because they went out there and made these games that a day before claimed they were going to make. So I think that they kind of earned that right. Another thing that I don't have in the script I saw today was the Day Before team. Somebody commented on that post about their statement that they're closing. Someone was like, how does it even happen? Like, you guys are such a scam. And the official Twitter account responded with, game development's hard. Shit happens. It's like, okay. Let's move on to our next headline. Insomniac Games dev suffered an alleged ransomware attack today.
Damn.
Insomniac Games has suffered a ransomware attack, leaking employee personal information and future game plans. First spotted by Cyber Daily, the ransomware hacker group Residia has posted proof of claims that they've hacked Wolverine developer Insomniac Games. As the proof claims, the group has posted some employee and ex-employee personal data, including passport images, as well as some images for the studio's next game, Marvel's Wolverine. Personal documents also include that from Marvel's Spider-Man 2 voice actor Yuri Lowenthal, who voices Peter Parker. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, you lost the signal.
Yeah.
The Residia Group has said that Insomniac Games has 7 days to make an undisclosed payment before all the data is made public. The group, however, is running a public auction on its website for the data, which states it at around $2 million in Bitcoin. Their website reads, with just 7 days on the clock, seize the opportunity to bid on exclusive, unique, and impressive data. It continues, open your wallets and be ready to buy this exclusive data. We sell only to one hand, no reselling, you will be the only owner. Insomniac Games is officially expected to release its next game, Marvel's Wolverine, sometime in 2024. Insomniac Games has yet to comment on the alleged hack, but we will hopefully update you when we have more. Some screenshots apparently did make it to the internet. Obviously, I don't want to see them, so I did not seek them out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, real terrible stuff coming out from Insomniac Games. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, it kind of sucks, but like, what do you do if you're that studio? Do you pay the $2 million to protect your? I think it's more so the employee information I would want to protect, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or do you just not? You just like, no, man, do your worst. We're not giving you $2 million. Do you negotiate with the terrorists?
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
No, you don't pay it?
Because they're gonna. I think they can release it anyway. It happens all the time. Like,
That's a fair point.
yeah.
Forrest says, what losers? Yeah, it's super lame. Really sucks to see. It's similar to the GTA leaks. You know, it's like, man, let these developers make their games. Like, I want to see stuff too, but like, I mean, I'm sure they did it for the money. I'm sure they didn't do it to leak Wolverine, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, leave the developers alone. Like, they're working so hard to make these games, and like, they have to worry about their information being stolen and their hard work being shown too early. Sucks. Next up, another news from today. Today was actually a pretty eventful day in the news. It is official. Officially official.
Mm-hmm.
E3 is dead. ESA has announced today. The Entertainment Software Association announced E3 officially has come to a close. The news first struck on the Washington Post, with the closure decision being attributed to new competitors, partner withdrawals, and more. They say, quote, after more than 2 decades of hosting an event that has served as a central showcase for the U.S. and global video game industry, the ESA has decided to bring E3 to a close. So a lot of developers and people in the media took the day to kind of mourn the loss of E3, saying, you know, Hideo Kojima was the one that kind of led the charge, where he's like, this isn't good news. This is a bad thing that happened today. And I agree with him. I think that we've, in the past, have had differing views on the value of E3. I think E3 has an important space, personally.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
I think our district. I think it had its value in the past. I just don't see its value today, when it's costing a lot of these companies so much more money to do something that they're doing right now on their own dime. Like, as long as the company's going out and buying a space to like do the E3 thing, you know, I don't know. I just think, like, the game show, the Summer Games Fest, it isn't E3. It's not, and like, it's its own show. That's kind of summing up the spirit of E3 in a way that it's a different package. You know what I mean? Like, it's not E3, and you can't really. It's hard to compare because it's its own show. E3 is not a show; it's a convention where everyone gets together. And now that's the only thing we're losing, is that togetherness part.
So I think that the togetherness part is one of the reasons why I think it's a big loss. I mean, obviously, you have a lot of the industry come together itself, and like a lot of deals used to be struck behind closed doors at E3 because you were there. You would just go, you know, you would set up meetings with other, developers would set up meetings with publishers and pitch their games this way. Like E3 was a big trade show. Like, and like, yes, for us as consumers, it's about the trailers, but it was more than trailers. And like you said, the togetherness matters. Another thing that I think E3 kind of is gonna be missed for is kind of also a reason why the Game Awards have to be so bloated, where it's like, I just think like the more avenues and the more events you have in the games industry, it leads to a much healthier game industry because there's more opportunity to show your game in more places. Like, I'm of the opinion that you should have, like, E3 can continue and Jeff Keighley's summer showcase can happen. Like, both of those things can happen. Like, we don't have to have one or the other. I don't know. I just think that it's big in that regard as well. It's also big in the regards that, like, you know, it really helps get eyes on your product. Like, yes, you can do your own announcement on your own time, and like, yeah, people are gonna find out about it. But E3 was different in a sense that, like, when E3 happened, everybody was reporting on it. Like, you would look at, like, the New York Times would do articles about it. Like, like every USA Today had stuff from E3. Like, everybody reported on E3, and I do think that, like, in today's day and age, it might not be such a huge loss just because of, you know, the internet and how fast information travels. I think, to me, at the end of the day, it's all around just a huge loss. Like, when I look at it, it's like the developers that would show their games there are sad about it, and the people that worked there as press are sad about it.
Yeah.
So I think generally it's a bad thing to have happened.
It's for me, it's E3's equivalent to a mall. You know, a mall's just shopping with people, and like, it's more sociable. It's it's an outside event. You can still shop. You can do it online, and yeah, it's less personable. But in a way, there's a lot more benefits, and it helps. I mean, it's a lot more benefits for the company. You know what I mean?
Not if you're buying clothes. You get to try a shirt on.
Do you know what size you are?
Yeah, but not every 3X is the same.
And that's why you can send them back too.
Yeah, but then I gotta wait. It's like, oh my god, I waited for the shirt to get shipped. Now it doesn't fit. Now I gotta send it back.
Yeah, but you're doing it from the convenience of sitting at home, like you.
Yeah, but what if I wanted that shirt? What if I wanted to wear it?
So go out and get it. There are still options.
I can't go get it. I'm waiting for it to come back.
What are you talking?
If you buy like clothes online,
yeah,
and they get shipped,
yeah,
and they don't fit, you can send them back,
yeah,
to get the right size,
yeah.
But what if you need that shirt and you waited for the shirt to come, and now it's like, oh damn,
then
like,
you just got to be shirtless until it comes.
I'm not gonna be shirtless. That's just silly.
I don't know what your other options are then.
Well, I could have just went to a store and bought the shirt and tried the right size on in the store.
I mean, it's still an option. Like, you could still go to like the E3. I mean, the Xbox conference or the Sony conference.
And like, here's another thing. And Forrest puts it really well. E3 was an event.
Yeah.
Like, it was a special time that every year, like I remember, like, when we were in high school, like, E3 came at the perfect time because, like, the school year was winding down and we were just kind of sitting around talking about E3 and, like, you know, even now, like, what's up, Ty? Everyone would just come together and watch E3, like, and even afterwards, like, you would come over every year. And, like, yeah, we do that with the Game Awards still, but, like, E3 was special, where it was just, like, as a consumer, it almost felt like, more than any other event, it felt like the developers and the publishers were really vying for our attention. And I'm a big believer in, like, iron sharpens iron, competition's good. I think it was beneficial for the games industry where, like, okay, Sunday, Xbox, you go. Monday, PlayStation, you go. Tuesday, Nintendo, do your big thing.
The thing is, you have to change, and E3 didn't change. We saw so many behind-the-scenes things of, like, just the cost of a booth. The cost of a booth for the three major companies that are bringing people in, it's just, why is it costing so much just to have people, just for them to be there? You know, like, these are your money bringers, and it's like, there's a lot of things behind closed doors that was like, we didn't experience. We got the good part of it, and like, you know, the week was over and we're done. But it was just, I guess, a stress for.
And so I don't disagree with that. I think that E3 definitely needed to change in certain ways to adapt. I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying E3 had to stay exactly the same, but at the end of the day, it's a huge loss to the games industry. As a fan of games,
I agree.
Like, this sucks. Like, because here's the thing, also, like, and we can agree to disagree. I don't think Jeff Keighley's summer showcases have been very good. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I think Jeff really puts his effort more so into the Game Awards. Again, that's just me, but I don't know. Ty is saying that apparently on the new Blade trailer on the Xbox page, it now has the Xbox logo.
Okay.
So that's good. But so yeah, that's it for E3. Very unfortunate. But gotta move on. Next up, we got a bunch of GTA 6 news. Obviously, we talked about the trailer last week and how incredible it is, and how I've watched it almost every day since then. um, According to a former Rockstar developer, now Devereaux, if you're watching the GTA 6 trailer, right, and you're like, man, this game looks incredible. There's no way this game is going to look like this, right?
I mean, that was a big worry. Like, is this gameplay? Is this in-engine footage?
Well, according to this former developer, it will look like this. According to a former Rockstar New England developer who was an animator who worked on GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 6 will look that good when it's released in 2025. In a 12-minute video, Mike York, former animator at Rockstar New England, spoke at length about GTA 6, fanboying with the rest of us over how impressive the game looks. He played back the trailer scene by scene, pointing out intricate details and offering his insider knowledge about how these games are made by Rockstar's teams. This is an in-game cutscene. A lot of the games that you are seeing done with cinematics, and they cut to a scene and it's not all in-game. It's kind of pre-rendered and then you see it. But everything that you see in a GTA game is all done in the game. Every single cutscene, if you see that building way in the back, you can go to that building. You can climb it. You can jump off it, right? This game is very elaborate, and that's why it takes them so long to make it. I'm really impressed with how far they're bringing the graphics for an in-game kind of version of this. A lot of times you see cinematics used, but this is not that. When you play this game, it's really going to look like this. So,
I'm excited.
I can't wait for this game.
Yeah.
Like, man, can't wait. And neither can a bunch of other people, Devereaux, because GTA 6 is breaking records. Now, mind you, at this point, because we didn't get to do like a full-blown show last week, this is actually outdated. So right now you have the trailer playing. It has 10.2 million views. Or I'm sorry, 144 million views.
Yeah, 100.
I was like, wait, that's not right. 144 million views. So it was the most viewed video game reveal on YouTube in 24 hours when it was at 90 million views. The most liked video game trailer on YouTube with 8.9 million likes in its first 24 hours. The most viewed YouTube video in 24 hours, non-music, previously held by Mr. Beast. The trailer, just people keep watching it and watching it and watching it. It's breaking records. Speaking of things being broken, Dev, do you remember that GTA 6 hacker who got arrested? It goes without saying, but don't commit crime. And certainly learn from your mistakes if you do. Unfortunately...
He learned, right?
Unfortunately, one person hasn't learned his lesson is Arian Kurtaj, the 18-year-old male responsible for the massive GTA 6 leaks last year in 2022. Kurtaj was a member of the cyber crime group known as Lapis? Yeah, with a $sign. Who was responsible for hacking Nvidia, Uber, Revolut, and blackmailing BT/EE for $4 million along with his accomplices. It's been said that Kurtaj's hack on Nvidia, Uber, and Rockstar Games caused $9.3 million in damages. The GTA 6 leak is what Kurtaj and Lepus are best known for, which gave us a first look at the game in 2022, revealing key information. Kurtaj has been incarcerated since September of 2022 and appeared via video link at a court hearing today. During his hearing, it was revealed by psychiatrist Dr. Claudia Camden Smith that during an assessment, Kurtaj has stated his intention to return to his life of crime upon being released from prison. Prosecutor Kevin Barry referred to the GTA 6 leaks during the hearing, saying, this material was highly confidential as the game is a billion-dollar franchise and the latest installment and a hotly anticipated. He published some of the stolen footage taken during the hack on online forums and blackmailed Rockstar that he would release the precious source code which forms the building blocks of the game unless they contacted him, presumably to discuss ransom payment. So Kurtaj has now been placed under a 12-week hospital order, citing that he is suffering from mental illness. I just love how this guy was like in jail. He's arrested. He's done this. He's guilty. And he's just like, yeah, when I get out, I'm going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we should send you to a mental hospital. You clearly aren't well. Ty says, I don't believe Rockstar are known for misleading the consumer. It seems they always use the in-game engine. Yeah, for the other story. Yeah, I mean, it's going to look that way. So, it's insane. Next up, Bungie developers. We didn't get to talk about this last week either. This came out, I think, the day before the Game Awards. It's a big read from IGN. So I'll let you, you should definitely go check it out. But I kind of want to get your take on this. So Bungie devs are saying that the atmosphere right now is soul-crushing amid layoffs, cuts, and fear of a total Sony takeover. So just to kind of go into some brief details for you. So Sony basically is in position where they are probably just going to be straight up taking over Bungie. They have that right based off of the deal that was made when they acquired them. Bungie was going to be allowed to remain independent as long as they could kind of keep running at the level that's expected of them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the developers there are they're angry. One quote says, I'm angry, I'm upset. This isn't what I came here to do. It feels like higher ups aren't listening to the data and are like, we just need to win our fans back. They still like us. No, they don't. We got rid of some of our most knowledgeable, beloved folks who have been here at Bungie for 20 plus years. Every day I walk in afraid that I or my friends are next. No one is safe.
Damn.
And that's what the vibe is at Bungie right now. So obviously, again, like, you're a big Destiny fan, and you've talked about we talked about the layoffs and how you felt about them and stuff like that. But like, man, it's just not a good look for Bungie, and I don't even want to say Sony by association because this is Bungie operating.
I mean, I think we talked about it last.
independently.
Yeah, we talked about it last time where they were spending way much more money and hoping to get it back, and they just weren't making as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a lot of, I don't know, a lot of money spent, not a lot of money made, and it just sucks. Because I want Bungie to keep their independence.
Yeah.
It's been working for them, or at least we thought it was.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question, and I want to get your opinion, like whether you think it's going to happen or not. So let's say fast forward a year. It's December 12th, 2024. We're doing like another podcast. Is Bungie still around?
Yeah, I think Bungie's still around. I don't think you dissolve a studio like Bungie.
Let me rephrase that. Is Bungie still around in a main game, in a solo game development role?
I don't know.
I don't think they are. I think that
maybe it depends more on their next game. I forget what it's called right now. Marathon. I think maybe Marathon has a lot of weight on it right now. If Marathon can perform and bring in money, maybe they can stand on their own two legs.
This might be kind of crazy. Part of me wonders if Marathon even gets released. And I just think that I don't think Sony would close Bungie, but what I do think Sony would do is make Bungie a support studio for live service games. I mean, that's the whole reason they acquired them and let them run independent. Is like, hey, you can do your own thing, but we need you to help us make these live service games that our other developers are making. So, for me, I mean, just being honest, I just think Sony does that. I think Sony, at some point over the next 12 months, I think Destiny 2 content comes out. It probably doesn't capture as many players as they need. Because I think that the goodwill at Bungie is definitely broken, unfortunately. Not because of the developers, but the heads of the studio. If I'm a Destiny fan and I really want to support these developers, they just fired most of the developers. A lot of the people that I, as a member of the community, interacted with, they fired them.
Yeah.
That's not how you instill confidence in a fan base. By taking away your community support, by taking away these things. I just don't think it's a good strategy on their part, to be honest. And I just see Sony stepping in, and Ty and I were discussing it on the Discord the other day about does Sony have a right to do it? Is it warranted? And I'm not even going to argue against whether Sony has a right to do it. I mean, they did acquire them, so it makes sense. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony takes Bungie and says, okay, well now you are a support studio for our successful studios. And it sucks. I don't want to see that happen. But Ty disagrees with me. Ty says that Bungie will not be a support studio. Too much money spent, too much expertise to move that to support level like that. I disagree. I think that that's literally why they acquired them, Ty. Why did they acquire them then? But to help them make live service games. So
I have to imagine. I don't know. Maybe it's not as much as Sony wants, but Destiny 2 has to be making a lot. I think Destiny 2 will still make more money than any other live service game they'll put out. You know what I mean?
I get it. I do. I don't think that they're around a year from now. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I don't want Bungie to go away. Bungie has a historic lineage in the games industry. You know, from Halo to Destiny, like they are at the forefront. And I take your word for it when you say Destiny is a great live service game. I'll take your word for that. But that's all the reason more why I don't want to see them go away. But at the end of the day, they sold to Sony, and Sony has that say. And if Sony looks at Bungie and they're like, hey, this is a mess right now, we need to step in and clean this up, they'll do what they got to do. Forrest says, nah, they fired the experts. Yeah, they fired the experts. Like, they literally say that anonymous developer says it in the report. It's like they fired the people that knew what they were doing, that know the universe, that know the community. Oh, Forrest. He's right. Forrest says that I have the burden. See, it is a burden, but it's also a responsibility. Like, Dev cannot go unchecked. When Dev says things like, Japanese games shouldn't be on Xbox, when he says stuff like that, I need to step in. And so, yeah, it is a burden. But Forrest, you being here, man.
It's a light burden, though. He's not right very often. It's a very light burden. He can handle it.
I'm right very often, actually. You just don't want to admit that I'm right. But Forrest, you being here,
it's a very, very light burden.
You're speaking over me again. Forrest, you being here makes it all worth it. As Ty and Daisy, you guys being here with me together while I get through this.
He's not stressed about the burden of being right very often. He tries to screenshot when we say he's right because it doesn't happen often.
No, it's not true. I don't screenshot stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Why, are you gonna screenshot that?
You literally screenshotted the one time Ty said you were right.
Oh, I was trolling.
It doesn't happen often. You gotta capture those moments and frame them.
No, it happens very often.
You gotta capture those moments.
Whatever. Speaking of moments, Deborah, it's another week. We're 2 weeks out from Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone. Surely Devereaux, Embracer, who has been laying people off all year, surely they aren't firing people 2 weeks before Christmas.
No, why would you do that?
Devereaux, they are firing people. Embracer Studios has closed Free Radical, the Time Splitters developer. VGC reported last month that Free Radical was at threat of being closed just 2 years after it was established. This was followed by another report in which sources told VGC that PlayOn had acknowledged in a company email that the studio could be closed on December 11th, following the completion of a consultation process. Consultation, excuse me. That closure now appears to be confirmed after the Nottingham-based company replaced its website with a 404 company not found message. And then a lot of developers took to Twitter, sharing that today was their last day at Free Radical. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just the continuation, and a lot of it is because of Embracer, but again, just a lot of layoffs this year, and it's really, really crappy to see. 2 weeks before Christmas, man.
Yeah.
That takes balls. Like, just wait till January. What is 2 extra weeks going to do to you? Crazy to me. I hate that so much. Like, at least let them enjoy the holidays before you do it. Or don't do it at all. Crazy idea. But
we say it every week. Like, there's going to be more. Like, there was a big boom in 2020, and that's running out. And money's running out. And it sucks. But...
yeah. Ty says, for context purposes, the Free Radical is not the same Free Radical that made the original Time Splitters. This is the new studio that Embracer created for the purpose of creating a new Time Splitters. You're correct, Ty. Yes, that is fair, but jobs were still lost all the same. And there's a nice picture of them. Last year, yeah.
Won't be one this year.
That's a shame. That's really crappy. All right. Next up, Skull and Bones, Devereaux.
Insane.
It has a release date. We've made it.
Yeah.
I went into GameStop to do some Christmas shopping the other day. Saturday. And they were talking about it. They were like, bro, it finally has a release date. And the other guy was like, there's no way it comes out. So, or like, there's no way it comes out on that date. They're going to delay it again.
That would be...
Could you imagine if they delayed it again?
That would be insane.
Following 6 delays, the release date of February 16th, 2024 is for now official. I still hold my thoughts that there's no way this game's good. I just don't think it'll be good.
I don't see a reason it's bad, you know? Like,
I do. It's been in development hell for 7 or 8 years or however long, 9, 10 years, whatever it's been. They've delayed it so many times. It's restarted so many times. They got to a point where it's like, we are wasting so much money. We need to just put this out, whatever it is. And like, keep in mind, there's also like a tax situation where they made the game. I think it was made in Shanghai or I forget exactly, but they had to put a game out. Like, they're legally obligated and like they have to put a game out.
mm-hmm.
I just don't think this game's any good.
I mean, we've already saw gameplay, and the gameplay, like, it was like the UI was clunky or like crowded. There was a lot of stuff happening on screen, and that was at the last beta. And I'm sure like you had to have fixed that by now, right? And it's just built off the Black Flag formula and expanding it. Like, on paper, it doesn't. I don't see the bad spots on paper. You know what I mean? I don't know a game that isn't going through development hell at some point. So, I mean, 7 years is a long time.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see if it comes out on the date that it says it's supposed to.
Yeah. We'll see. You should do a review of that game. You're the guy who's like looking forward to that game. I don't know anyone else that's looking forward to that game.
Okay.
No, I just think you should. How's Assassin's Creed Nexus coming along?
It's fun. I'm killing people in VR.
How far do you think you're into it?
Not far. 25%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, this could be actually a really cool idea for Xbox. It's not for me, but for the people who don't mind ads like you know, might be a good idea.
Actually, yeah, I think you're right.
No, I think this actually is like, it's not for me, but it's definitely a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Xbox Game Pass for free. According to Windows Central, Microsoft is currently experimenting with a new tier of Game Pass where, you know, you can view some ads, get access to hundreds of Xbox games. Microsoft Gaming CFO Tim Stewart recently caused a furore during a Wells Fargo summit where he suggested Xbox is seeking to bring Game Pass to competing platforms such as PlayStation and Nintendo. Phil Spencer denied those plans, saying that that's not part of the plan. He said it was more of a North Star aspirational goal. Like, just kind of like, we want to put Game Pass out on all of the screens. Doesn't mean they actually want to go to Nintendo and PlayStation. However, Microsoft hasn't been shy about wanting to get Game Pass on every screen in front of as many people as possible. And that leads to this report where, like, they are experimenting with that. Recently, Windows Central reported from a table enthusiast and generally lovely chap Derek Heap at Tweaktown that describes some comments from Tim Stewart that were missed. Stewart describes a scenario for Xbox Game Pass expansion, by which Microsoft may offer Game Pass access in exchange for viewing advertisements. For models like Africa or India, Southeast Asia, maybe places that aren't console first, you can say, hey, do you want to watch a 30-second ad? And they get 2 hours of game streaming. Africa is, 50% of the population is 23 years old or younger, with growing disposable income base, all with cell phones and mobile devices. Not a lot of high-end models. And say, there's millions of gamers we would never have been able to address, and now we can go in with our business models. So this definitely seems like it's something plausible that Microsoft could do. Would this be something that interests you, as a consumer?
It depends on the ratio of ads to gameplay. Like they said, a 30-second ad for 2 hours. I'm fine with watching, 2 minutes of ads for 8 hours of gaming. Like that seems like a no-brainer to me. And like Game Pass is expensive. Like it's $120 a year minimum.
Yeah.
$150 a year, I think. So like, Yeah, I'll watch 2 minutes of ads to play for 6 to 8 hours. Like that doesn't bother me at all.
So Forrest says, I don't know, man. How long until that is just like YouTube? So my thing with that is
Even YouTube isn't that bad. Like
no, YouTube's bad.
it's really not.
I've been paying for YouTube Premium.
Yeah, and I think that's
happily.
Oh, if you have extra money to do it, fine. But I don't pay for it, and you can skip after 5 seconds. And
you know what's one of the worst things to me? Like, and again, like I am a very blessed individual. I'm very lucky in life.
Yeah, what?
I'm very blessed. So this is gonna be such a first world thing. One of the worst things that happens to me is like when like I'm watching a video with someone on a TV and they're like, "Oh, let me put this video on," and then an ad starts playing because I'm so not used to an ad. Because I'm like, I just want to watch my YouTube content. Like I just want to watch the content. I don't need a 2-minute ad in the beginning and then like halfway through another 2-minute ad. Like I just want to watch my 10-minute video.
No, like, does your finger work?
Sometimes.
There's a skip ad button after. If you're sitting there and watching a 2-minute ad fully through, you're the problem. That is you. I have no problem waiting 5 seconds to hit the skip ad button and watching my video. Like, it does not bother me at all. I don't need to pay money to not wait 5 seconds. It just doesn't bother me. I don't live my life on level 10.
So Ty and Forrest are in the chat right now. They're going at it a little bit. Ty says, if this is free, people can't complain. You don't get a choice.
Yeah, it's.
And Forrest says it's really bad. Ty says YouTube isn't bad. The content creators need to get.
And here's the thing: if it is that bad, if it does bother you the way it bothers you and Forrest, then just pay for it.
Well, I do.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have a problem with it.
But I'm saying there's an
the way it
option.
is.
I'm saying there's the option.
I'm okay with there being an option. I just think it's psychotic.
It's really
not
not
pay for ads if you can afford it.
It's just a waste of money. What am I?
Well, so I also YouTube Premium has other things with it, like the fact that I can like
You can pay to close your phone.
That is big to me. Look, regardless of whether Google should or shouldn't charge for it, that's something that is a very useful feature to me.
Right,
I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
I mean, I listen to podcasts all day. I put my phone in my pocket and I'm fine. I don't need to pay to close my phone. It's just, it's to me it's not worth the cost yet. And maybe one day when ads are actually ridiculous, I will. When there's a 2-minute ad that I can't skip, I'm paying for YouTube.
See, I'm really with Forrest on this. Is like ads physically drain me. I'm so with you, man. Like just sitting there, like I just like when I sit down and I want to watch something, I just want to watch it. Like if I'm sitting down with my food or like whatever it is, like when I'm watching wrestling, I hate when the commercials come up. It's like I just want to watch wrestling. Or like when I'm watching a movie, like remember the one time I told you it's like I watched Rogue One because it came on and I was like, man, this movie was like 3 hours longer because of the ads, and it sucked. But I just didn't want to get up to get the movie in the other room.
The other room, yeah.
It's such a good movie. I was like, you know what? I'll swallow my pride. I'll watch the ads.
Yeah, but like again, it didn't bother you enough to go get the movie on Blu-ray.
But that's a rarity. I was like, man,
I don't know.
Like, my point is that I'm saying my personal, like, I would rather just pay for the service and not get the ads. Mm-hmm. But I do think this is a really great idea and something they should absolutely experiment with.
Yeah, and again, if it gets too much, then yeah, go pay for it to not see the ads. But like 2 hours of gameplay for the 30-second ad saves you what, $150 a year? I mean, go ahead. Like I'll take that for sure.
I mean, to be fair, also Game Pass Ultimate has a lot of other like parts to it.
Okay, but you can get that.
It comes with
after
the
watching a
access.
30-second ad.
I don't want to watch a 30-second ad. I want to play my game.
Okay.
I want to play my fucking game.
All right, then play your game. But
and I pay for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's fine.
I wouldn't if it's what it says here, 30-second ad for 2 hours of gameplay. That is a no-brainer. I have to go pee. I'm in the bathroom for longer than 30 seconds. What if you're like in the middle of a
cutscene and it's like a really emotional cutscene from a story, and then it just cuts out like
Whopper. Yeah. Fine, I'll.
That would ruin the game.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't ruin the game.
No.
Well, you're just wrong. Big shocker. Forrest says he hit a point where he stopped watching YouTube because of the ads.
Again, if the 5 seconds bothers you that much, then don't watch it, like, or pay for it.
Why pay for it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not that bad.
It really is.
We literally grew up watching TV with commercials, full-length commercials.
Yeah, we were children.
Yeah,
I was a child. I don't have time anymore.
Now that we're an adult,
I'm getting older. I can feel myself dying. Okay, I don't have time for ads.
All right, if you say so.
I need to enjoy my life. I need
if you
to
say
like.
So.
It'd be like every time we're having a conversation and we're just talking. I'm like,
I wish I could skip you after 5 seconds, but sometimes you just keep going.
Forrest, it would be funny as hell. All right, let's move on. Got some Starfield news. Bethesda has confirmed that new Starfield updates and fixes are on the way. Bethesda confirmed the upcoming features and updates fans should expect in an official reply to the recent patch notes. They state that an update is due early next year that will address in-progress quest issues. To resolve them, the developers created an entirely new system to avoid rolling back saves. Further, Bethesda delved into future updates for Starfield. The team is actively working to introduce city maps, mod support, and, quote, new ways of traveling. The last statement is pretty vague, but it implies new vehicles could be added soon. Something that was a big knock for some people with the exploration is they wanted to traverse the planets quicker, so hopefully that's kind of a tease to come for that. Fans are speculating new ships, maybe mechs, because the Starfield lore does include mechs, which is really cool. People don't really know that, actually. I won't tell you about it. But
Okay.
It's part of the lore.
Get a Mantis in Starfield.
So you don't get to use any mechs in Starfield, but I don't want to spoil stuff.
You don't get to use vehicles.
Well, possibly. Eventually. Bethesda adds that fans should stay tuned about the travel update. So more information is likely coming soon. Starfield's mod support is currently planned for 2024. Yeah, they're working on making the game even better. Bethesda also launched the Creation platform into Skyrim just last week. Adding new features won't get in the way of bug fixes, they say. Players have been requesting the vast range of technical fixes. Now Bethesda plans to roll out more consistent fixes and updates for Starfield roughly every 6 weeks. This includes hot fixes in between if they feel it's safe. Keep making Starfield better. I'm going to be going back to Starfield in the near future. Another other little thing about Starfield that was pretty cool is the testers of Starfield, Microsoft converted them from contractors to full-time unionized employees. That was reported by Bloomberg this past week. So about 300 quality QA testers got unionized and hired.
Okay.
So it's good. Good to see. Again, and especially in a year where there's just layoffs everywhere. So, love to see it. Dev, let's talk about the Zelda movie for a little bit.
I didn't even know there's an update on it.
There is, actually. A quote from the director. And I kind of want to get your takes on it. And, Forrest, your take as well. So it was announced last month that the film will be helmed by Wes Ball, the director behind the Maze Runner trilogy, and next year's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Ball said his vision for the movie is inspired by the work of Studio Ghibli, co-founder and Spirited Away director Hayao Miyazaki. He told the publication he sees the Zelda film as this awesome fantasy adventure movie that isn't like Lord of the Rings, it's its own thing. I've always said I would love to see a live-action Miyazaki. That wonder and whimsy that he brings to things. I would love to see something like that. Ball, who said as far back as 2010 he hoped someone would bring Zelda to the big screen, claimed, "It's going to be awesome. My whole life has led up to this moment. I grew up on Zelda, and it is the most important property, I think, that's untapped IP, if you will. So we very much are working hard to do something. We're not just trying to do it because we can. We want to make something really special." Forrest said, "Oof. GL. Good luck. Godspeed." What are your thoughts on this? For me, this sounds like a real crazy aspiration to do a live action
Studio Ghibli style movie.
Ghibli, yeah.
I mean, Nintendo's. We saw the Mario movie. We saw how it did. I know live action's a whole different beast, but I have faith in it.
I do too, but it's like, man, I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Yeah,
This movie. I just need it to be good. You know what I mean? Like, it's a Zelda movie.
We need to see. Yeah, we just got to see stuff. Once we see a first trailer, once we see Chris Pratt in the tunic, the green tunic, I think we'll know like from there whether or not it'll be bad or good.
You almost made me lose it. Because I was listening to you, and then you said Chris Pratt, and I was like, okay.
Chris Pratt or Tom Holland. You know it'll be one of the two.
Well, they'll have Tom Holland play young Link.
Okay.
And then
Chris Pratt will
be
yeah, that makes
adult.
more sense. Yeah.
Because nobody in the right mind would have Tom Holland play an adult. That would just be silly.
Yeah.
Not like a Nathan
Have him play.
Drake.
Yeah, have him play a young character like
a Peter
like a young
Parker.
Nathan
Like
Drake.
a Peter Parker.
Yeah, like a Peter Parker or a young Nathan
Or,
Drake.
no, not
yeah,
Nathan
one of
Drake.
those two. Yeah.
Not Nathan Drake. But we'll see. So from promising Zelda thoughts and you're gonna roll your eyes if you look at this, but I hated this.
Of course.
What do you mean? Of course.
Of course.
Why can't I? Why do I have to? I can not like things.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
You not like a lot of things. I know.
That's not true. There's a lot of things I like. You'll find out about that either next week or the week after when we do our end of year game stuff. There's a lot of games I love. One of them was Tears of the Kingdom, mind you. Tears of the Kingdom continues to pave a new path for the Zelda franchise, building on the gorgeous open world formula that Nintendo introduced in Breath of the Wild. But while these games have received critical acclaim, some fans desperately miss the old style of Zelda, the more linear games. Zelda series producer Eiji Onuma is aware of that, and in an interview with IGN, he has a rather interesting response. Acknowledging that Tears of the Kingdom has taken the series in a different direction, Onuma puts fans' desires partially down to nostalgia, but also on wanting the thing we don't currently have. However, Onuma also feels like, particularly in Tears of the Kingdom, there is a set path, it just happens to be the path the players chose. He says, quote, "It's interesting when I hear people say they want more linear Zelda, because I'm wondering, why do you want to go back to a type of game where you're more limited and more restricted in the types of things or ways you can play? But I do understand that desire that we have for nostalgia, and so I can also understand it from that aspect. Tears of the Kingdom certainly feels like a lot. It took on a lot of feedback, particularly surrounding dungeons. While Divine Beasts were the pseudo-dungeons of the Breath of the Wild, many felt they weren't enough. Tears of the Kingdom introduces dungeons, and Onuma talks about those in one of his responses. He mentions that it was the team's intention when dungeons in this follow-up to put a bit more density or thoughtfulness into the designs. And these dungeons include puzzles, many of which can be solved through multiple solutions. With Breath of the Wild, the idea was to rethink the conventions of the series, which meant the team broke apart the traditional Zelda, though Onuma heard fans' requests. Quote, "But then we did hear the desire from fans for a bit more of a designed dungeon, and that led to our approach to dungeons for Tears of the Kingdom. And so we proceed, whenever we're making a game, we look back at our past and then consider where we are now, with the freedom that we give to the player in these games." The interview with Onuma and the games director, Fujibayashi, is rather extensive and gives an insight into what the team is aiming for with the sequel, as well as potentials in the Zelda series. I thought this was a really weird quote to kind of chalk it up to nostalgia.
No, I think he's right though.
I don't think he's right.
Nintendo's always, even when they go back and do they're always innovating with their bigger IPs,
Okay.
Mario, Zelda, all of that. And
Sure.
even when they go back to 2D, they for a while they had a Zelda 2D and a Zelda 3D, back and forth. Even those 2D games innovated. But there's only so much you can do. You know what I mean?
Right.
At this point, there are other. Okay, Tunic. Tunic does what a lot of people wanted from Zelda, and I think that's you have to find another. If your thing is that top-down Zelda game with puzzles and all that, then you have to go somewhere else, because where else can you innovate?
So I hear you. I think my thing, and Daisy's playing Tears of the Kingdom right now, and look, for the record, I love Tears of the Kingdom. We talked about it. I love it. I think that I have a lot of issues with Breath of the Wild, and I think Tears of the Kingdom fixes a lot of those issues. But I don't. It's not just nostalgia. It's the style of game. It's a more curated universe that's still open and explorable. When I think about Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword to an extent, I think that those games are crafted in such a masterful way. Is it more limiting by definition? Yeah, it is more limiting. There's not 20 different ways to do every puzzle. It is a much smaller world. But sometimes a curated experience has its own. And this isn't to take away from what Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are doing, but it definitely, why can't there be both? We're seeing in Assassin's Creed where they're now saying, okay, well, if some fans of the franchise like both of these types of games, why don't we just make an RPG game, and then we make a traditional game, and then we make another RPG, and go back and forth. And I think it's
I guess
kinda,
because where's the innovation in that?
well, I see it kind of hypocritical because I look at Mario Wonder and I don't think that game's innovative at all.
But
Like,
I
it's
think you
great.
should-
It's a great game, but what does Mario Wonder do that the 2D genre, side-scrolling genre, hasn't done yet?
I think you have to play it.
I will play it, and I'll
Like
tell you.
I think we've even avoided gameplay, so we don't know.
I've seen enough gameplay. I have not, and none of the reviews I've heard is like, man, this is the most innovative. Like, what is Mario Wonder doing that it's innovative?
I think play it.
We'll see. Like, again, like, and Ty says, I see what Enuma is saying. Why would you want to go to from Elden Ring to Dark Souls? Maybe just make a new Zelda IP that's linear like the handhelds. Ty says he gets what I'm saying as well. Wind Waker is an amazing game. It's like OG Assassin's Creed. Yeah, exactly. What I was saying was that with Assassin's Creed.
But if you look at, so like you just named Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and a few other games, none of those games are anything alike. Every single time they bring out a Zelda game, you know that it's going to be a different gameplay mechanic across the board. This is the first time. This was a sequel, but like even Breath of the Wild, it's a completely different game from whatever their last Zelda game is, and even their 2D games are like that.
Sure.
So it's like if they can't innovate and they're just rehashing something just for the sake of linear and 2D, I just don't think that's enough for them. They have to innovate. They have to do something that raises the bar, because Zelda raises the bar constantly. It's one of those games where you said it before, when it comes out, it's game of the year because it's always raising the bar.
Yeah.
Going back, taking steps back just because fans miss those old styles, I don't think is a good enough reason to go back, especially when there are games like Dredge and Tunic out there that take those formulas and continue them.
So, is the innovation Chris Pratt, says for us.
For the next game, yeah, probably.
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be Tears of the Kingdom, but like with a Chris Pratt skin for Link.
Yeah.
No, like I get what you're saying, but I disagree. I think you kind of ask a ridiculous question there, to be completely honest, where it's like, oh, what, they should listen to the fans? Like,
first of all, we're talking about Nintendo, and listening to the fans of Nintendo.
I understand. Look,
they do their own thing.
Look, what I think is right and what Nintendo will do are two totally different things, and that's fine. I'm just giving you my perspective. I think at the end of the day, you have a very dedicated fan base.
If you listen to the fans,
and I think you should listen to them, but also like.
No, if you listen to the fans, Breath of the Wild doesn't get made. If you listen to the fans, Wind Waker doesn't get made.
I hear you.
Those games don't get made when you listen to the fans. And now those games came out, and they're your favorite games.
Well, not Breath of the Wild.
Well, no, but like the other ones are. Sometimes you have to give customers the game that they don't even know they want.
I mean, to be fair, Twilight Princess is one of my favorite Zelda games, and they literally made that game darker because people were so mad about Wind Waker. So your point's kind of not correct, because Twilight Princess was made the way it was in the game it was because people were like, cartoons for Wind Waker. Like, ew.
Yeah, but like,
so Miyamoto was like, fine.
Do you remember? Yeah, do you remember when?
Take your Dark Zelda. And I love that. I was like, yes, please give me more of that. Please.
The only reason when Wind Waker came out, everyone said, yeah, ill, ugly. We don't like that art style. And then the game came out and people played it. They were like, no, this is actually a great game.
Yeah, and I understand that. And I'm not saying that like Nintendo shouldn't.
By the time they made Twilight Princess, Wind Waker was already a 10 out of 10 game.
I just think that there is an opportunity there for Nintendo to please both sides of that audience. That's all I'm saying. And my kudos to Ubisoft, because they finally seem to understand that, where they're like, okay, well, we really want to make these big RPG Assassin's Creed games. That's the direction we want to take the franchise. But then they look at it and be like, okay, well, let's do Mirage. Oh, Mirage did really well. There is a fan base.
Well, even Mirage didn't nail it.
It did nail, but that doesn't mean they're going to abandon it. They're going to keep making them now. And it's good. It's what you should do. You should look at what your customers want and make them happy. Yes, you could still innovate. You should definitely innovate, because video games are an art form, and there should be artistic value there, where it's like, at the end of the day, like, look, like it is a consumer-based product, but there is a lot of artistic integrity that goes into it. And I don't want Nintendo to not try to innovate and stuff.
No, of course. I don't want Nintendo to become Ubisoft. Ubisoft has almost yearly releases, or they've had for most of the time they've made Assassin's Creed games. Zelda comes out once every 5 to 10 years. There's a huge jump between their games, and it's always going to be a huge innovation. And I don't think they should waste that time that they're going to spend, because we know we're not going to see another Zelda game for another, at minimum, 5 years on rehashing things that they've already done.
So my counterpoint is that I think Nintendo has the time, the effort, the manpower, the teams available where you can have multiple projects going at a time. And if anything, it would probably be smarter to do something like that where Nintendo was at a point where they were putting out Zelda releases every year, whether they were ports or whatever. And you know what people were doing? They were buying them. All of them. Myself included. Mm-hmm. We love Zelda. I love Zelda.
But it's like you just said, they were ports. They weren't.
But here's my
big focus of their team was let's go all in on this next Zelda game. We're not going to split up. We're not going to do all that. We're going to go all in.
I think you can have multiple teams working on multiple Zelda games. That's my point.
All right.
I think the same thing's going with Mario. They made Mario Wonder, but
so your solution for this is Nintendo to create another development team just to please fans?
You know damn well Nintendo is working on a 3D Mario game right now. You think that Mario Wonder team was like, all right, guys, stop working on Mario Wonder. We're going to make this 3D Mario game. No. They had two different teams working on two different games. Just do that.
I think Nintendo, just do what you're doing. Until you come out with a bad Zelda game, I just do what you're doing. Because everyone hates it until you do it, and then everyone loves it.
Here's the point you're not understanding, is that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is a genre shift for the franchise. Like, yes, they're still loosely related as action-adventure games. They're not the same games. And that's fine for some people. Mm-hmm. But some people love those style of Zelda games. And so, like, you can't blame them for wanting Nintendo to not abandon that section of the fan base. Like, I understand innovation matters to Nintendo, and like I do want them to keep innovating and keep making these games and these experiences. But I don't want them to completely abandon like their legacy. That's important to me. So
it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to you?
What you're saying doesn't make sense.
How do you figure?
Their whole legacy is innovation, and you're saying don't abandon it, but just do the things that we want you to do that you did already. But don't abandon the innovation that you're bringing in.
Why can't you do both? What's the problem? Nintendo is one of the most successful game developers in the fucking world. What do you mean? You make it sound like it's just not doable to have two different development teams working on Zelda games.
Sure, but they don't want to do that. They want to make one development team to make one big Zelda that they do every 5 years, and it's been working out for them. You're saying don't abandon that, but it's been what they've been doing.
So Ty asked me what I would want. Like, I mean, look, here's the thing. I want to see them continue to push the Tears of the Kingdom formula. I think that you can definitely add some things that the more traditional Zelda games do. Like, I think Tears of the Kingdom is just... see, now it's going to make it sound like I don't like Tears of the Kingdom.
No, we know you like it.
I love it. I love Tears of the Kingdom. It's a 10 out of 10 game for me. But, like, I think that Tears of the Kingdom, its world just feels very open and very empty. Even when there's things to do, not every corner of Tears of the Kingdom feels like it's worth exploring. That's just and as someone that explored Hyrule twice for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, at the end of the day, looking back on my time spent, it's like, man, I really didn't have to explore all of Hyrule. I didn't feel rewarded for it. I didn't feel rewarded at all. Whereas when I play, like, say, a Wind Waker or a Majora's Mask or an Ocarina, whatever, older 3D Zelda games, exploration felt a lot more warranted. There was a lot more things that just everything just felt more meaningful, and that's the way that these games, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, are designed. They're designed for you to literally be able to beat the game within 10 minutes. You can literally go to the end and beat the game, and that's fine. But if you're doing things like that, you're going to take away the value of actually doing them. It becomes a chore, and I just don't. It doesn't vibe as well as the older Zelda games. I don't necessarily need it to be a Wind Waker 2, but I just like the more traditional 3D Zelda formula. It's something that I prefer.
All right, I disagree, but okay.
That's fine. I mean, you disagree with my taste. I don't understand what you're disagreeing with. I like this. Well, you're wrong, but that's what.
No, I disagree on what you think Nintendo should do.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
you like what you like. I like what I like.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what the problem with that.
No, I disagree with what you think Nintendo should do. I think they're fine until they release a bad game. Then we can go in and tell them, we can go in the kitchen and tell them how they should cook the food. But let them cook the food that they're cooking. They haven't put out a bad dish yet.
Sure, but why not just have multiple menu options?
They don't want to have multiple menu options. If you want that, go to Ubisoft. Go to McDonald's. Go to Ubisoft and order the McCreed that you get every year, and it's just Nintendo's not that. That's just it's
every
year.
Different. It's the first traditional Assassin's Creed game they've put out in
I mean, sure, but
Syndicate. What are you talking? You're not even making sense right now. You're just
you're going to sit here and say that the Assassin's Creed formula wasn't isn't tiring.
For me, I mean, not
Like
really.
they put it out and then they had to stop because they were coming out with it every year, and it's just like,
What are you talking about?
all right, let's just
No,
move
no,
on.
I'm serious. What do you mean every year? Like, apart from Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time.
No,
they
I
were
said
not-
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. I thought you were saying there was new 3D Zelda games coming out
No,
every year.
no.
Like, what are you talking about?
No,
That's just not correct.
that's not what I said though.
No, I misheard you.
You do that a lot.
No, I really don't. Otherwise, I would admit that I misheard you. Yeah, we can move on. It's fine. We're just going to agree to disagree. I'm still going to love Zelda regardless. I love Tears of the Kingdom. That's not changing. It's just I like the older Zelda games too. That's all I'll say. You know, but apparently I'm wrong. Says Devereaux. Interesting quote about the Indiana Jones game, Dev. Disney.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know. Disney is insisting that Bethesda's Indiana Jones game, which is confirmed PC and Xbox exclusive, isn't going to be overly exclusionary.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Let's find out. This literally came out today, and I was like, oh, let me add it to the list. I actually have not read this yet, so let's see. Microsoft's high-profile legal battle with the FTC over the fate of its $69 billion buyout of Activision Blizzard unearthed a number of explosive revelations. Among them, the fact that Microsoft renegotiated ZeniMax's deal with Disney to make the Indiana Jones game exclusive to Xbox and PC, thus ditching the PS5 version. During the trial, Bethesda's Pete Hines revealed that Disney had an agreement with Bethesda owner ZeniMax for a multi-platform AAA Indiana Jones game. But after Microsoft bought the company, the agreement with Disney was amended to transition the Indiana Jones game to an exclusive for Xbox and PC. At the time, Hines said the game was set to hit Game Pass on day one. Several emails and conversations shown during the trial added color to the decision to make Indiana Jones a platform exclusive. While it is not our messaging... Oh, an ad just popped up and ruined everything. While it is not our messaging, I think it's important to highlight that Lucasfilm brought up the issue of platforms because we have a signed agreement with them to develop the game for multiple consoles. Read an email between Hines, Phil Spencer, and Matt Booty. What?
Forrest is tired of this merger. He left the show and the merger's still going on.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it's over. This is just...
Yeah.
Okay,
It's just, this residual
Forrest
stuff.
is right. I'll try to cut through this a little bit. You're dealing with a licensor who is giving a ton of feedback on what you're making. Let's see. I actually do want to get to it. Okay, here we go. Sorry, Forrest. We're done with it. Now speaking to Axios, Disney's head of gaming, Sean Shoptaw, explained why the company was happy to renegotiate on Indiana Jones. With Xbox still being one of the bigger marketplaces for games, we didn't feel like we were going to be overly exclusionary, Shoptaw insisted. We felt like it's going to reach a broad set of folks, and we felt financially and strategically for the game that this made sense at the time. Essentially, Microsoft made it worth Disney's while to ensure Indiana Jones on Xbox as a console exclusive, thus adding further value to Game Pass and encouraging sales of the Xbox console. Okay, so yeah, he's basically just trying to downplay that it's exclusive now. He's like, oh, everybody will still play it.
I think it's what you said earlier. They don't want to come out and keep saying, oh, this is exclusive to Xbox, this is exclusive to Xbox so soon after this deal closed. Because like you said before, it's still being investigated. So
Right.
like, they're just trying to
Yeah, I agree.
make themselves seem, I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Number 14 on the headlines. We're almost done. This is actually a much busier news week than I expected.
Well, it's been a while since we had like a...
Well, that's true. Last week's episode was kind of
Yeah.
just kind of us getting used to this. Well, sadly, Nintendo had some events canceled in Tokyo, but they canceled the events after receiving threats. These threats targeted both employees and spectators.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, in total, the postponed events included the Splatoon Koshin 2023 National Final Tournament, Splatoon 3 World Championship 2024, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Online Challenge Final Stage, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe World Championship 2024. According to the blog post, Nintendo will only, or I guess it's just the tweet, Nintendo will only announce new release dates for these events once they have been decided. Though unfortunate, fans will appreciate how thorough Nintendo is being in order to secure safety first and foremost. Nintendo did not confirm the nature and scope of these threats.
Okay.
Kind of crazy. just Nintendo receiving threats.
I wonder if they're just like.
I wonder if it's a Nintendo thing or it's a Japan thing.
Yeah.
Or is it like,
That's
is
what I was gonna ask.
someone just trying to like cause fear in Japan, or is this like an anti-Nintendo aimed attack? I don't
Yeah.
know. Last on the headlines, Forrest, I'm glad you're here because, when you have two things, right? You get the post-apocalypse, hellholes, just terrible places. What better place? It's almost a double entendre, to be honest. To have New Jersey and the post-apocalypse. Folks, Fallout 76, the Atlantic City expansion, I bet they are American. The Atlantic City expansion is now live in Fallout 76. This is one of the most sizable updates to hit the platform in recent months, bringing about an out-of-map expansion in Atlantic City, a location ripe for exploration and bursting at the seams with new activities. Bunch of new stuff, 2 new locations, the Neapolitan Casino and the Boardwalk, new expeditions, new factions, the Showmen, municipal government, and the family. I love that it's like, what's your faction? The municipal government. Oh, man, what a Jersey thing.
For context, me and Rome have this ongoing, like, I don't even know if it's an argument, but he says New Jersey is the worst state. I think it's Florida.
Okay, here's the thing, right?
You see this gameplay? This still isn't as bad as what you would see in Florida.
I don't know, man. This looks like...
You saw the GTA 6 trailer?
This looks like Jersey.
Nobody's twerking.
Look at these people.
Nobody's
people
twerking.
Just dying. People just getting shot. Look at this guy chasing the one lady with a hatchet. Oh my god, he just got disintegrated. New Jersey, man. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on in New Jersey. It's terrible.
I don't know. Post-apocalyptic New Jersey seems equally...
It sounds just like regular New Jersey.
It sounds like Florida. It sounds like
no, it just
on
sounds,
equal terms.
It just sounds like regular New Jersey. I'm just like, I don't know what the point of this is. Like, what are we doing here? It's just regular New Jersey. Just boot the game up, be like, that's my house. That's what Forrest would say.
Rockstar was like, what's the most ridiculous place to make a game? And they chose Florida. There's a reason.
Look, Florida's terrible. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Don't make me sound like I'm pro-Floridian, okay? I'm not.
Florida man endorses Fallout 76.
Look, no. Jersey is just terrible. It is just the worst place I've ever been to in my life, okay? Like, is Florida bad? Yeah. But they have Disney World. So it gets a pass. Like, Florida's terrible. I would not want to live in Florida. It's too hot. The water's got like brain-eating amoeba. But like more importantly, Jersey, you can't, like the taxes, they're so high. You can't even like make a left turn in New Jersey because you got to go on the jug handle and you miss your turn. You got to go around. You can't pump your gas. Like it just sucks. Like I hate being in New Jersey. Like I wish
can't pump your gas is not.
I wish Forrest would get out of New Jersey. Like I can't wait till that happens. The day that Forrest moves out of New Jersey. Never going to New Jersey ever again. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm never going to New Jersey. Ever. That's it. Forest is the only thing in New Jersey that I like. Like, that's it.
I think you had one bad IKEA experience in the city.
The funny thing is that you think that, but that while yes, that was a bad experience, I've had multiple bad experiences in New Jersey for one reason or the other. So, no. I don't like New Jersey. Like, okay, it's not as bad as Florida, I guess. But because it's so close to me in proximity, it gets bumped up the list.
That's fair. That's a fair
It's like
argument. Florida,
Florida, out of sight, out of mind. I don't gotta live with that. I wake up in the morning, if I look a certain direction, I can see New Jersey. And I'm just like, that's disgusting. It's like, ew. Like, ugh. Why can't the Delaware River just be a little bit bigger? Just... I think God made a mistake. Forrest going to Maryland. I mean, I don't want you to go further, but, I mean, getting out of New Jersey is a good step for you. I definitely like this.
Next thing, like, I hate Maryland. That's your next...
No, Maryland's pretty chill, I think. I mean, I got into a car accident in Maryland once, so...
Oh.
It's not great, but at least it wasn't New Jersey.
Yeah, in a car accident on the way to Florida. I mean, the scales
in Maryland.
In Maryland?
In Maryland.
Oh, okay.
That was the car accident. We were in
okay.
Maryland. Or
funny, actually.
Washington. Yeah, it was Maryland. Anyways, so that's Fallout 76. Go enjoy that. It's on Game Pass. Let's wrap up the show with our game releases for the week of December 11th. Not a lot of big releases this week, Dev, but let's run through them real quick. Coming out today, we have Bear and Breakfast on the PS5 and PS4. Hammerwatch 2 came out today as well on the PS5 and Switch. Got to get away from all this New Jersey negativity. I feel you, man.
I think he's talking about you.
I don't think... Why would you be talking about me? I'm not negative. I just don't like New Jersey. Anyways. Viewfinder comes out on PS4 today, December 12th. Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising comes out on PS5, PS4, and PC on the 14th. House Flipper 2 comes out on PC on the 14th as well. As does Palia come out on the Switch on the 14th. And lastly, also on the 14th, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, the Indigo Disc Switch DLC comes out. So, I guess my pick for the week would be the Pokemon DLC, but I did not play the first DLC.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I haven't played either, but...
I mean, I really love Scarlet and Violet, so... No. Just... I didn't play the DLC.
Do you have plans you think you ever will, or you kind of moved on from it?
Oh, man, you know how the backlog is.
Yeah.
I want to say yes, but...
Got Peppa Pig to play. No, yeah, it's. I don't think I'm gonna jump back in either. So it's like
I don't think it was enticing enough to me.
Yeah.
But a lot of the promotional material is showing like a lot of the older starters. Like I think they have like the Gen 2 starters. I think all the starters are back in this. So like part of me definitely wants to kind of dive in. But I don't know.
I don't think I've done Pokemon as much as I like the idea of it. I don't think I've ever done Pokemon DLC. And
I did the Sword and Shield DLC. It was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was just more of Sword and Shield.
Which I think is cool. I think it's cool they're doing it. It's just something I never... By the time I'm out the game, I'm just out.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that. All right. Well, that is all we have for the show. Dev, you're still kind of working through Assassin's Creed Nexus, playing that.
Yeah, slowly.
Probably going to be done Wind Waker tomorrow. Playing Wind Waker. Enjoying Wind Waker. I love Wind Waker. Such a good game. After that, probably Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Okay.
That's what's next. And then Mario RPG.
All right.
That's my plans, but we'll see where we get with that. Anyways, this has been episode 49 of the Game Room Podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Forrest, Daisy, Ty, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe on your way out. If you're not listening to us live, let us know in the comments. What did you think about the Game Awards this year? You know, like, what are your thoughts on it? Like, were we out of line? Were we right? You know, would you like to see the show change at all? You know, let us know. Like I said, you can subscribe. I want to set up a Discord, like a gaming Discord. I want to get that set up. So we'll probably get that set up in the near future. Keep an eye out on that.
Got a lot of work to do.
We do. You know, it's again. This is episode 2. Really, like we really almost should have rebooted the episode count. Be like, yeah, this is episode 2 because you know we're doing this here by ourselves. And again, Dev, you're doing a great job. The mic thing was weird today. Yeah. I don't know what happened with that.
We got it worked out though.
Yeah. And we'll continue to work it out, continue to get better. That's the idea here. But until next week, we'll see you guys later.
I still don't have an outro screen, so
all right, so Devro,
I'll play the
Devro,